All right, ladies and gentlemen, in this video, we are now opening up our discussion, finally, on three-dimensional figures. Now, this is going to be very brief and kind of short and to the point. At this point, we would have already done one of the activities that are on your packet that kind of follows along with this video, if you're actually in my class watching this video. And we are going to provide you some other links to some different videos as well too, that kind of show a little bit better representation of two other core concepts of cross sections and revolutions, just simply because I cannot draw to save my life, and so some other YouTube videos have depicted that so much easier than I would personally do. But for our purposes in this video, we're just simply going to focus on identifying if a figure is a polyhedron and to classify a solid specifically. So let's take a look. A polyhedron, just simply put, is some kind of solid that is bounded by a specific polygon, whether it's a rectangle, whether it's a pentagon, a hexagon, a heptagon, whatever it is, right? A polyhedron is bounded by those faces that happen to be a specific polygon, making, obviously, now a three-dimensional figure. Each kind of edge, right, each edge or side of the polygon is called just that, an edge. All of the corners become the vertex, and all of the polygons themselves that we kind of all mesh together kind of in one big, you're going to hear it called as a net, right? I take a net of all of these different faces and kind of push them and glue them together of some sort, and all of those actual polygons are called the faces of the polyhedron. So let's take a look here kind of first and foremost as just of what makes a particular polyhedron a polyhedron. So if you kind of look here real quick at what we just, and this is the same thing as what we just kind of talked about here, a polyhedron has to be bounded by an actual polygon. So it has to have faces, or it has to have edges. Here's examples of polyhedra. That's our plural, polyhedra or polyhedrons. All of these have edges. They're sides to these faces, and this is a prism, and this would be considered a pyramid right here. But what we don't consider polyhedra is when they are circular or rounded in shape, because there's no sides to them, right? This is rotated, and this is really rotated to create these figures. So as we continue to kind of look into it, let's just talk about the difference between a prism and a pyramid. A pentagonal prism, which we're looking at here, is some kind of polyhedron in which, you guessed it, the bases are pentagons, right? The bases are pentagons to make it a pentagonal prism. So the bases are, now, not all of the faces, all right, end up becoming the exact same pentagon, right? It's just the bases are a pentagon, so we would name it a pentagonal prism. So here for our triangle pyramid, of course the base would be the triangle, and the edges would come on up and so on and so forth. So let's take a look at how can we classify some of these particular solids and see if they are a polyhedron or not. So in this first example here, we end up seeing that the bases down there at the bottom and up here on top, those are all rectangles, all right? So we would call this a rectangular prism, rectangular prism. And yes, it's going to be a polyhedron because it's got faces and there's no curvature to it. Here we've got ourselves a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sided base, hexagonal pyramid, hexagonal pyramid. Yes, polyhedra. Part C, circular It was revolutionized to make this figure, and we'll talk about which figure created this cone, but it's not going to be polyhedra.